Hi, welcome. I hope that you had a chance to look at our first video blog for the introduction of the book, Dr. Betty Kamen's book, Hormone Replacement Therapy, Yes or No, How to Make an Informed Decision. And we're going to go over chapter 1 now. So I hope that we get some, I know we're going to get some good information because I've already.
And to update you, this is Shelley, Ann, and Debbie Peoples.
Yes. Yes.
Just to update you.
Yes.
Okay, so chapter 1 is on female and afflicted. How it is, how it was, how it could be. And so in the very beginning, she starts right back with PMS and how it wasn't even
an
issue or diagnosed until 1953.
That's just insane to me.
Isn't that?
Yeah.
Up until that time, it really wasn't a problem. And so she wondered, Dr. Kamen wondered, how could this be? It didn't just appear overnight, or did it appear overnight? And so she did some major research to find out
why it wasn't a concern.
Yeah, why it wasn't an issue that women were bringing to their doctors, to their physicians. And what she found out
simply,
was a very simple statement. She found that before this time, there wasn't processed foods like we have today.
Oh yeah, well, not only that, but we had more exercise, outdoor exercise. We weren't cooped inside these offices, and we had less stress. Kind of seems interesting that we would have less stress back then, but I guess it was just simpler times. So
simpler times, we ate healthy, we worked outside. She did some real research when it came to nutrition and to food.
Oh, yeah.
Even getting into seeing the type of pesticides that have been put on our food that we still have a problem with today.
Yeah, so even when we're trying to eat healthy, we're still getting these toxins.
Mm-hmm.
And so and I have to say, being organic does not guarantee no pesticides. Please do your research on this. I think it's USDA that does the benchmark for it. But the actual definition of being organic is that you will try your best to use safe pesticides, but that doesn't guarantee that you won't. So just an interesting thought out there about organic stuff.
That's very true. Well, she talked about how before World War II, processed food was the exception, not the rule. Very different in today's society.
Yeah, it says compare our current environment with that of only a few generations ago. So, I mean, that would be my grandma or my great-grandma. They were definitely growing food that they consumed, and they definitely had a lot of chores and a lot of kids and a lot going on. So I would say that their life would be a little more healthy. Yes.
More healthy.
I actually want to go back to this one quote that she
Okay.
has with the doctor. She's it's kind of like a comic. You want to know if you should go on hormone replacement therapy? Well, yes and no, but don't quote me. And I have to say, and we have dealt with physicians that don't want to give us a true answer. Well, yeah, it could be that, or yeah, it could be that, but and they don't want to really get down to the nitty-gritty because it seems to me they really don't know what's going on, and they're allowing the sales representatives to feed them the positive information, and they're not ready to combat the negative information.
Very true. How many of you feel like a guinea pig? You go to the doctors and you feel like a guinea pig. Well, try this, and if this doesn't work, then we'll try something else. And so,
how nice to have something that just works with your body, that you don't have to wonder, is this going to work or is this not going to work? Am I going to have to? I guess we have to adjust how much we use of it, but outside of that, it's really not a guessing game. You just use it every day, and that's the easy thing about it. So
Well, and when it comes to dealing with side effects, there was this one lady that
goodness.
she had gone to the doctors for diabetes. And when they found out that she had diabetes, they ended up giving her 2 prescriptions. And so she went and took them to the pharmacist, and she said, I don't understand why I have 2 prescriptions, because, you know, this is what my ailment is. And the sweet, you know, doctor there told her, said, well, the reason they gave you 2 is because one is for nauseation.
Yeah.
And she said, but I'm not nauseated.
Yet.
And that's what he said. He said, well, this pill that you take for your diabetes is going to make you nauseated. That's why they gave you the other pill.
And so now we're compounding.
So now, well.
Because what side effects are they going to get from the nauseated?
What else are you going to have to deal with? So, yeah, it's interesting.
And I think it's interesting that Betty Kamen also kind of, I think, agrees with us in how physicians act too, because it says even though PMS was, what was it? It was diagnosed in 1953. Finally. It says, however, physicians from whom most women seek care still fail to recognize, diagnose, and treat their PMS. So, and it says, it actually says, treat their PMS using standards and protocols published in the medical literature. Now, and I think that's interesting because I don't know what that, now is that, I'm assuming that means like up-to-date medical literature with new studies, new findings, and so meaning that doctors are not staying on top of these women situations, PMS.
Well, when you think about it, you go see a doctor, you'll sit for an hour in the waiting room, a half an hour in the office room, and maybe 3 minutes?
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
Maybe 3 to 5 minutes with the actual doctor.
Yeah.
How much can he do?
Really get to know you with. Yeah.
Very
so
true.
So yeah, so it says, I just wrote it on, doctors don't seem to research PMS, but rather follow, and I said rather follow pharmacist salesmen and women. So
Very true.
So
Very
unfortunately, when we're being told to go and discuss with our physicians about our symptoms and what we want to do with them, our physicians aren't educating themselves to properly prepare us for these situations. So it's kind of a double-edged sword.
Well, and it falls back on us. How much are we willing to look into it and to learn about our own bodies and what works and what...
educate ourselves so we can make a good decision.
That's true. That's true. So it says, I made this quote, what is this book all about? Says today's strategies for dealing with PMS, menopause, and osteoporosis suggest ways for you to decide on personal actions in these areas. Estrogen therapy in the treatment and prevention of osteoporosis is discussed, as well as natural progesterone as an alternative, plus reasons for the use of certain herbs and food supplements. My views spring from, and this is Dr. Betty Kamen, as to why she wrote this book. So her views spring from clinical experience, a broad range of interviews with medical professions, and intensive research of published literature. So this is where she gets all of her information, and she breaks it down so that you have the right to the knowledge and you're able to make your own choice when it comes to your body and what you're going to, how you're going to deal with
what you're going to allow. I love it. So, so breaking it down to the clinical experience, she's actually in the clinic with women, listening to women, hearing the situations, and so she's out there, and so that's definitely one way that she's going to get a good perspective and be able to educate us on what she's learned. And then number 2, broad range of interviews with medical professionals. So these are other medical professionals that are in that same industry that are with their own clients, our own patients. And so now you have a team of educated medical professionals that are thinking about hormones and what they mean for men and women.
Absolutely.
And then 3, she did her own research, so she was able to take her experience in the clinic out there with her educated knowledge and learn more and actually apply it and see how it performed in different studies and different experiments that she did. So that's wonderful.
And one of the things that I learned from Dr. Kamen, and I've been associated with her since the early 90s, is that in talking to women, and I've talked to thousands and thousands of women over the decades, I've often told them, if I don't know the answer, I'll flat tell you, I don't know. But I will go back to the doctors, to the research labs, to the clinics, and find the answer for you. And so even to this day, I tell the people that I deal with, that I work with, that order from me and buy our product, that I'm happy to answer any questions that I can. I will use my background in the research of thousands of women that I've spoken to.
Oh, definitely.
To help you. But if I don't know it, I'll flat tell you.
Yeah,
I
we're
don't
honest.
know.
Because we want to learn together at that point.
That's true.
So then your story can be used to help someone else. And so I think it's just sharing knowledge. It's just a powerful thing. We really shouldn't keep it
to ourselves
you know?
Because somebody else is probably dealing with the same thing, or they've dealt with it.
Yeah. Well, and it just makes us all feel a little more comfortable and
Human.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
And so at the end of it, she actually says, after extensive examination of all sides of the issue, I have formed fairly strong conclusions. You will find in these pages that I frequently take positions advocating specific courses of action. Although there is certainly no shortage of controversy, I would be doing you a disservice if I were to avoid passing along my conclusions, opinions, and even hunches, which I love this because we have a doctor who's not afraid to put their foot down and say, hey, this is what I think. Yeah, I did look into it. I do have some information about this, and this is my conclusion on it, because I have not come across that too often. And so I love that she has her strong opinion here.
And she's sharing them with us in this book. She's
Definitely, because again, just the controversy definitely continues. There is a lot of misleading information out there, and unfortunately there are physicians that are allowing themselves to be misled because they are going back to that old 1950s medical book that's saying that progesterone is not important for a woman's body and it doesn't need to be maintained after menopause, and that's devastating. That's really devastating, because progesterone is such a happy hormone, and it's needed, and it's not just progesterone that's needed. It's all the hormones. Even we've found women who have had a full hysterectomy that still benefit from this cream because of the need for hormones in their bodies. Am I wrong?
No, and in fact, it's very interesting in the women that I've spoken to, and I have women that have been on this product of Dr. Kamen's for years, and it's funny because now some of them are in their 80s and 90s, and I've had women call and they've told me, listen, tell the women that when you hit 80, there's another cycle.
Really?
That you're going to hit. If you think menopause is it, and
I have heard you say this before.
Yeah, you think menopause is it, and I'm over the cycle and I'm done.
Really?
Not always. Some people are, but there is another cycle that does come around when they seem to hit about 80.
Wow.
And I've had them tell me that they have found that by upping the cream,
at that
it
point?
at that point, it completely takes care of this other cycle that they're going through.
So around 40, 50. And then again around 80.
Around 80. And I actually have women as old as 102 using Dr. Kamen's product.
Yeah. Well, if anything, just for their bones, like Dr. John Lee said. You know, for the rest of your life, just for your bones.
Absolutely.
So, that's great. So, yeah.
So,
go for it.
After all of this, Dr. Kamen, actually when she started doing her research, she was just going to see, you know, the advantages, the disadvantages of natural over the prescriptions. And after doing the research, she came away with a thought that she hadn't even considered. And she says, simply stated, I am an advocate of using a plant extract containing progesterone-like activity plus a small amount of the natural progesterone hormone itself mixed in a cream base with specific herbs. I have now witnessed endless success stories from women and practitioners, the result of using this treatment as an alternative to the more traditional hormone therapy. So in conclusion, this is what she ended up with. And it just so happened that she had a brother that worked in oil of Olay.
Yes.
He worked as a chemist, as a research for oil of Olay. And so he was used to making up compounds. So she took all of her research to him, and he looked at it and said, well, oil of Olay will not do this because it's too expensive. The ingredients were too expensive. They're
I did think about this though, because back then oil of Olay was a basic product.
Yeah, a
but
moisturizing.
Today, I wonder if they would still say that.
That's true.
Because they have really spun off into these anti-aging
different things. Yeah,
and
that's
so
very true.
I don't know when. I think it was just over the last week or two since we've been talking about the book, but I did think about that. Like, well, I wonder if now, because now they have a couple products that sell for 30-something bucks.
Could
so
be.
you know, which is around
changed.
what we sell our product for. So you know.
That's true.
It's just interesting. I wonder if not that
if they might reconsider.
But we're good. We're good.
We're good.
Oil of Olay, you're fine. We're fine.
Well, her brother took her research and took a very rich moisturizing base, and then added the natural progesterone,
a little
wild yam extract, with the herbs that she had come up with, and it created this product that works as what we call an adaptogen.
Yes.
Now, an adaptogen.
Go for it. Yeah.
Actually, what that means is, depending on the person that uses it, it adapts to their body, their system. We're not the same.
No, and I have different needs.
Yeah,
than you.
we're not the same.
Yeah.
And so it's very important that whatever product you're using, that it will address not only the needs, but also all the different hormones, balancing out the system.
Detoxifying the system as well.
That's true. So when you balance out the system, there are other benefits that you get.
Oh, well, this is great because, I mean, and I don't know if this is where you're going, but your body, when it's balanced, can take care of itself so that it doesn't, your immune system is better. You won't get sick as much as often. And so there's a lot of different side elements that people have benefited from using the cream.
Well, I've even had people tell me that they feel like their vitamins and minerals
are working
better.
Yes.
Since they've balanced out and since they've gotten the cream.
Well, and that's because the body can absorb them better, because the body is in a better homeostasis. That's the good way to say it.
That is excellent. Well, and it's interesting because I've had women that have said, how can it do that? How does it know how to do this? And one of the cute things that Dr. Kamen, the way that she explained it, she said to me, she said, you know, it's really interesting. You can get a cut on your body. And it can be a little scratch, it can be a cut, and you can dress it and put a bandage over it, but you can actually watch it heal from the inside out, form new skin, get a scab falls off, new skin's there.
You never knew you even had a cut.
Yeah.
I mean, if it was a really bad cut, yeah. But, yeah.
Well, and the thing is, she said, now, if the body does that on the outside, what makes you think it can't do that on the inside as well? And I thought, you're right. You're right.
But if your body is so broken down that it can't get to the, that can't get to the dust in the corners type of stuff because it's so busy just maintaining and cleaning out all the gunk that you bring home every day, it's never going to get to the corners.
But if you give it what it needs, if you give it the natural ingredients that it recognizes
and wants,
then it knows.
Well, that's key, that it recognizes. Because, and that goes back to that one, here it is, that one, and we'll show it again. I had it in the vlog 1. And so it's what the body is already picking up. So your blood is going through, and there's all these little pieces in there. And this is your body saying, I'm hungry for this particular piece.
It's a receptor site.
There we go. Yeah. So it's looking for that piece come in. And if you have that piece, it's going to take that piece. And then it's going to be very happy, and if it needs more of those little bubbles are going to pop up, and you're going to give it more and more and more. If it doesn't, then it's just going to flow through the blood, and then it's going to get passed through the urine, and that's great, perfect. Now, pharmaceuticals will try to mimic this.
Well, and that's what I was going to say. When it comes to these little side effects that you get from your pharmaceuticals, what happens is they do try to mimic it, but and it'll look just exactly like it, but maybe it has a little tail on it. It's got a little tail. And so the body goes, well, it kind of looks like it. Maybe I can make it fit, but with that little tail, that's where you get your little side effects. Yeah.
Well, and I mean honestly,
it connects,
though,
but it doesn't
too,
quite fit.
Well, and then your body has to learn how to adjust to it, and maybe your body doesn't work the way, it doesn't adjust the way you want it to, and so I hate to say it, but cancer is mutated cells. So you're introducing things that don't fit 100%, and you're expecting your body to know what to do with it. Now, bioidenticals are pretty good at this. Now, they tend to use animal hormones, and so it's a little better than the pharmaceuticals. But we do find that the plant ones work the best.
The best, and that's what Dr. Kamen found.
Yes.
But yeah, that it's the plant-based with the herbs that make the big difference.
Actually produce what you need instead of give you. So bioidenticals, they're guessing what you need. They're charting it out. It's a long, expensive, time-consuming process, and then it's just a target that they're aiming for, and they're saying, okay, you look like you're low on progesterone, and you could use a little bit testosterone and too much estrogen, so we're going to try to pump you full of progesterone and a little bit of testosterone to balance out that estrogen. Adaptogen is not that way. Adaptogen actually pumps what you need into your body. You need estrogen, and it has the testosterone and the progesterone.
And your body takes out what it needs.
And your body takes out what it needs. And there is no guesswork with it. If you need it, your body's happy, you take it. Maybe you don't produce enough when you're 80 years old and you got to take a little bit more because your body's just not, it's craving it, right? Or you're 50 and you need a little, or you're stressed out, you need a little more.
Stress will do it.
Life happens. And if you don't, great, it's going to go through the urine and it's going to pass through your body. Again, detoxifying, taking out the xeno and phytoestrogens that we're getting from our environment too. And so adaptogen.
And it's interesting to note, I mean, I've been working with Dr. Kamen in this product for years and years and years. I have never, ever seen anybody overdose on this product. Ever.
And we've used a lot of it too.
And I've had people use it in massive amounts. So I feel very comfortable in telling you that, you know, it's not a product that you have to worry about. Use what you need. My biggest concern is you're not using enough of it.
Well, I will say that there has been, if any concern is some people are sensitive to it early on. They need to adjust to it a little bit. And then we just say, okay, put it on your feet, because we find that that's a good way. And so even with people that tend to be a little sensitive up front with it, we've been able to work with them as well. So once we bypass that, I haven't seen anyone that can't use this product who doesn't benefit from this product. And it's just amazing.
It is.
No side effects. And so that I've heard of, only positive. I mean, we have people that, you know, I'm not growing hair on my chin anymore, and that's wonderful. Or I'm starting to grow hair on my head again.
Where I want it.
It's amazing, yes. You know, or my boobs got bigger, or my boobs got smaller, or I'm losing weight, and I haven't even changed my diet. And it's, again, getting back to this happy homeostasis in your body, where your body is just moving and grooving, and it's on its own little, you know, jig, and it knows what it's doing, and you're giving it what it needs, and it's going to help you along. You know, you're not going to have, your sores will heal faster because your body will be able to heal them faster. It won't have to concentrate on getting all this gunk and all this other stuff out while it's healing something. It can just heal it, and so that's amazing.
Yeah, it's interesting. She says, before my research, I was inclined to oppose any therapy that presumes to improve on nature. But without intending to, I assembled a compelling case for this natural product. I'm convinced that this is the way to go, and hopefully you will be too. The product that she's talking about is called the Miracle Cream. She made a tape, Every Woman's Miracle, and that's why the product was named the Miracle Cream, so that people would associate her research with her product.
Yeah, she was part of choosing that name, the Miracle Cream.
Yep.
So that's actually really wonderful. I'll put a slide in there that has the website on there, so you can have easy access to the website as well. I tried to put a link on the YouTube. I gotta learn how to do that, so bear with me. Now, she does say in here that it's possible to, so she says, truly healthy women do not suffer from these diseases ever. Ever. Now, I want to warn you, to get to this level, it takes extreme sacrifice and dedication. I'm not that person. Maybe as an experiment, I could be that person for 6 months, maybe 9, maybe. If I got paid enough, 9. If you guys bought enough cream and I got paid enough, send me on a Disney cruise afterwards. I could do the sacrifices for 9 months. 6 months, you know, just dangle the cruise in front of me. I could do it. And so, so it is possible, but she says there are a lot of sacrifices, and she comes back to that on page 15. And she said, you probably already know that if you want to enjoy optimal health, you'll have to give up a few fast-held fast food habits. Some of you may have to make what you would consider substantial sacrifices in your nutritional lifestyle. The point is that such a goal is entirely possible, regardless of your health status. Yes, that's what she says. Again, I'm not naturally going to be that person, so I love how she breaks it down and says, fortunately, we are in a position to pick and choose knowledge of the past and present, and to project future choices based on this wisdom.